From an amazing new parry to ranged attacks with the slowest weapon, some skills in Jedi Survivor really changed the combat a lot, so I want to tell you the best ones in this video and also share an amazing early game XP farm so you can easily earn all these skills. I want to start with something I invested in early on, confusion. You already learned the basics of course through the main story by letting a scout trooper fight for you, let it kill by the way the other scout trooper, and you immediately are awarded with a trophy or achievement for having an enemy take out a target of the same type. You then, a little later on Kobo during the Forced Array mission, learn to confuse major fauna, so large creatures can help you out, which can be handy too, but by investing skill points in that confusion tree, you make this playstyle way better. You start by making the effect last longer, can then even take over 2 enemies at the same time, so they all turn against each other and don't focus on you, which is really nice. And by getting the superior confusion and confusion mastery, you can even take over the most powerful humanoid enemies, like the flame troopers are insanely powerful and will clean out other troopers super fast. Or by fighting a lot of the battle droids, take over a powerful humanoid raider, and yeah, it will fight for you. You can also take over purge troopers to help you out. The only downside is that if a confused enemy takes out a target for you, you will not get any XP. And this is by the way also the case for companions, so it's always smart to do the final blow to not lose out on that experience. So yeah, that's totally the downside, although again I will have an XP farm in a moment where you can easily get those skill points. But the true highlight of this confusion skill tree is by far the redirected strength. Not only because it's really fun to pick up an enemy and then fire their weapons against other targets, but also because it's kinda broken. So you need to use force pull and then R1 or RB to use the weapons from the enemies against other targets. And by doing so, you get force back. So you don't lose anything from this tactic and can just continuously do it, taking everyone out one by one and still earning XP. So yeah, kinda wild, totally recommend this skill, and you can of course at any point reset your skills at the meditation point and then spend them maybe on others that we mention here that you don't have yet. Resetting skills is free the first time you do it, but it will cost you 1 skill point afterwards, and no matter what you do, of course getting those resilience skills is always nice, increasing your max health or the amount of healing you get from a stim canister. In chaotic situations with a lot of enemies, it can be hard to use these stims, so that's why the teamwork skill is also crucial. This will let you take those stims faster, which can really mean the difference between life or death. And then I think investing 2 extra skill points in the power of friendship so you get some force back every time you use a skim is totally worth it too. Now speaking of force, the greater hold force skill that increases the duration of your slow effect on enemies is also amazing, especially because of an upgrade you get later on in the main story, but I will let you explore that for yourself. And the channeled energy for 1 extra skill point to get more force back from defeating an enemy is also of course great to have. And you want to get the howling push as well, so you can push larger enemies. This is namely crucial for the amazing XP farm. Huge shoutouts to NorCal Bandits for reaching out with this tactic via the input@JorRaptor.com email address that you can of course use as well if you found anything in the game. So the farm is really close to where you start on Kobo. Again, very early on at the derelict dam meditation point. Then you want to head across the broken bridge like this. Here we'll find a Gorako who, if you stand like this, so a bit from the wall, will always jump with an unblockable attack. So then step aside and with the howling push, you push it against the wall and then position yourself to push it from the edge. If you do it like this, you get double XP from the creature, which is crazy. So yeah, this really adds up over time. Of course, then run back to the meditation point, rest, and rinse and repeat. Like yes, if you don't push the creature against the wall first, you get less XP. So totally do it like this and you will get the skill points in no time. I'm not sure if this like intended or if they are going to fix it, so do it fast. And of course you also want to get the wisdom perk, which increases your XP gains. I went over how to get that in my previous video that I will link to in the video description. And of course if you like this video so far, then leaving a like would really help me out, and subscribe for way more spoiler-free Jedi Survivor content like this. So I also tried a lot of the dual wield skills. I really like the Twin Viper, which lets you throw 2 blades in quick succession, or the final skill, the Dancing Blades, where if you charge up with L1 or LB and then press triangle or Y, the blades will bounce between enemies. It can be hard though to pull this off when enemies are shooting at you, and it's not amazing against high health enemies. Like Dennis, you have been looking at other amazing saber skills, right? So take it away.
Thanks, Jordan. Now, I think that any attack that also gives you extra mobility is worth getting, and the dual-bladed saber has the amazing vortex dive that allows you to dash through enemies while slashing them with your saber. By holding L1 or LB and then pressing square or X with the skill unlocked, Cal will dive forward, spinning the saber like a propeller to hit any enemy in your path. This was a real lifesaver during the Battle Droid Challenge, for instance, that you can find as a 4-star on Kobo's moon over here on the map. During the challenge, you can use Vortex Dive to simultaneously reposition yourself and take out a lot of enemies. You can also use it to close the distance to a target by diving towards them, so a really versatile move that you want to add to your arsenal. It's unlocked early in the skill tree and only costs 1 skill point, so definitely grab it if you've been using the dual-bladed saber. Now, a saber stance that severely lacks mobility is the crossguard saber, but you can make up for that lack by giving yourself an extra ranged option. Because next to the saber throw, you can unlock the impact skill to send out a shockwave across the ground. This will deal damage to an enemy's guard if they are blocking, meaning you can open them up from range and then close in quickly to deal some damage. It can also deal damage to an enemy's health, and it also knocks them back, so it's a really useful counter against ranged troops too. This one also unlocks early in the skill tree, although it will cost you 2 skill points to get it. And if you end up liking the skill and want to improve it even further, you can buy greater impact for 1 extra skill point to increase the range. Again, I think this is a great addition to the moveset of the crossguard saber, which is very powerful but overall lacking in range. But in my opinion, the stance that improves the most by investing skill points is the blaster stance. Whereas most saber skill trees offer some new moves and upgrades to existing ones, the blaster stance gives you access to a new defensive option too: parrying with a gun. Yeah, I'm not kidding, you can counter an enemy attack by shooting them at the right time to perform a powerful point-blank shot. So a third option next to dodging and parrying, and a very powerful one too, as the damage from this point blank shot bypasses an enemy's guard and immediately damages their health while also blasting them back. It deals decent damage too, almost able to take out a Bedlam Raider with a single shot, but the main reason for using it, in my opinion, is because it is so damn satisfying to pull off. Cal is really channeling his inner Han Solo for this one. It doesn't require too much investment either, as after unlocking efficient heat transfer for 2 skill points, you can pick up point blank for just 1. Now, the only downside to this gun parry is the fact that you need ammo to perform it. And while regular attacks already give you some back, the quickest way to regain your ammo is by performing the special energizing flurry attack. You do this by holding L1 or LB and then pressing square or X, and then Cal will perform a series of quick rapier-like stabs with his saber that recover a lot of ammo for your blaster. If the full combo hits, you'll restore 6 rounds. Even with upgrades to ammo capacity, that is more than half of your max ammo, so really a lot. And in order to get this skill, you need to unlock that upgrade to your ammo capacity anyway, as well as the blaster cooldown skill that increases the ammo you gain when you hit an enemy. So those synergize really nicely with energizing flurry, which will cost you 3 skill points. But again, I think this is totally worth the investment, as this attack allows you to perform the amazing point blank counter more often, as well as use your powerful charged blaster bolts. We discussed those in our previous video, going over amazing combat tips and unlocks, which you can watch by clicking on the screen. And we've got way more spoiler-free tips and tricks videos for Jedi Survivor coming your way, so subscribe to not miss those, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!